welcome back to the Daily Dose podcast. This is episode number 3. Hope you guys have been enjoying the episodes so far. I'm absolutely loving making them. I know I say this at the start of the last couple of episodes, but they are great crack and I'm having so much fun getting to chat to all these people, and I hope you guys are enjoying listening to it. So without further ado, let's rock on with the next interview. You can tell by the title who it is, and hope you enjoy. Let me know your thoughts. So my guest for today's show is a man that is just full of tricks. He's a man that you see him and you say, can that lad do that? And he's like, kind of what? And next thing he backflips and you're going, where did you pull that out of? What the hell is going on? He is absolutely taking Ireland by storm. I'm going to say it here and now. Within the next 2 years, he is going to take over Ryan Tubridy's job. So Ryan Tubridy, he is absolutely coming for you. This man here, he's a good friend of mine. He's an absolute gent. It is the one and only John Sharpson, everybody. Hello, John Sharpson. What's the crack?
Hello, Jesus, without even saying that, and I'm already going red. Thank you for your kind. Where is you, little gentleman?
Stop it. No, John, how are you, man? How are things going with everything that's going on in the world? How are you? How are you?
I am good. I'm very good, actually. I'm on holidays, technically. On holidays, unemployed. It's kind of the same like being 20.
We're all on holidays at the minute, I think.
Exactly. We're all taking an extended holiday. Yeah. But after the Homeschool Hub, we were all just knackered. So I actually don't mind.
Exactly. So you just mentioned there the Homeschool Hub. So for people that don't know, John Sharpson is a primary school teacher. Am I correct in saying that? Yeah, it is primary. Yeah.
That's
so
right.
John Sharpson trained as a primary school teacher and then quit his government job, of his real safe government job, and decided, do you know what? I'm going to be a presenter or an actor. And I was like, what are you doing? But no, he's dead right, because he's absolutely so talented at what he does. So yeah, you said you did the RTE Homeschool Hub. You were Moon Tour John. All the kids know who you are now. Like, you are a household name in Ireland because you kept the education system going, thank God. So explain a bit about the Homeschool Hub and like how did it come about? Like, did you just were like, I'm going to set it up myself and make millions? Or explain to the listeners, for those that don't know, how that came about.
No, I'd love to say it was my idea, but it kind of wasn't. But like, we were thinking, with schools closed down and stuff, that there should be some sort of a leeway for parents, or some sort of relief for them, or respite. So Suzanne Kelly and a fella called Kuan from the production company Macaulay, they put their heads together and said, can we try and create a school show on telly so that kids can watch it, parents can leave their kids watching something educational. I don't know why I did that, because watching educational just for the hour, and that they wouldn't have to feel guilty about it, and parents could kind of get their own work done, because a lot of people kind of forget that like, no one was working. Everybody was working from home.
Yeah.
And even if they didn't have to, they had to now mind their kids because there's no school.
Exactly.
So they were like, so teachers were kind of saying, okay, and the government were saying you should be homeschooling your kids. So number one, parents, a lot of them aren't teachers, so they don't know how to do that. And number two, they also had their full-time jobs that they were trying to do at home as well.
Exactly.
So it was hectic for them. So it was more so that the kids would learn something, and mom and dad could get an hour's work done, have a cup of coffee, and not have to worry about what the kids were doing, because they're learning something,
Exactly. And it was such a great thing to come up with, and it really helped the kids, especially with like with the pandemic and the lockdown, and everyone like freaked out, and people kind of forgot about education. Education was just gone. Like, so my brother was doing his Leaving Cert this year, and it was just like, there was nothing said, and like, but my dad was still like, no, you're still studying because it's still going ahead. Like, this was like real early days. Do you know what I mean? But people, the pressure for kids then as well to learn online, or like learn by watching the telly, isn't the same as being in a classroom and being surrounded by friends and things like that. So it was a massive step, and like, for you to do that was absolutely incredible. And did you find that doing that helped the kids and everyone get a bit of normality and keep their education going?
Well, like, we didn't really know how it was going to go, so we, like, it was literally got a phone call, and the world was turned upside down. People were still fighting over toilet paper in the supermarkets. So no one knew what was going to happen. So like, I got a phone call, and they were like, we're putting together a show, are you around? And I was kind of like, what else am I going to be doing? There's no school, there's no telly. I'm around, definitely. Like, so then it was kind of, jeepers, can we actually do this? Because it's very different, like being in a classroom full of kids where you can say, okay, we're reading this English story. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think should happen? Did you like the story? Didn't you like the story? Because they can talk to you. But if you're on your own in a room without even a cameraman or someone else, you're like, hi, everyone. And you have to be enthusiastic about it, even though all you're hearing is, like crickets coming back at you because there's no one
Yeah,
there, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So when the first episode went out, we were very nervous, but the response we got was really, really positive. So everybody kind of got on board with it, saw what we were trying to do, and you're going to get and we knew we were as well. We were going to make mistakes, and we were going to get people saying, "I wouldn't have thought it that way if I was you." And it's just like, well, unfortunately for you, you're not a cam. You know what I mean? So there was all these
That's it.
Like 95% of it, it was really, really positive, and it just seems like everybody just got behind it.
Yeah, no, it was great. Like my girlfriend's younger sister is 9, and she every day was like, "Oh, I can't wait to see Moon Tour John," and I was just like, what? I was like, what are you on about? And then I saw it and I was like, what? That's John. Like this was like early days and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
I know him. He's my friend. He's
my
friend.
My friend.
Yeah, he's my friend. He's my friend. But yeah, it was brilliant, and it was such a great thing for the kids. And honestly, like, fair play to you and all the lads for doing it, because it was absolutely incredible, and it kept the country going as such, because everyone was kind of like, what is going on? But at least the education system kind of stayed there with the kids as best as it could, through telly, like,
and
like,
literally, yeah.
do you know what I mean?
And that was it. It was just, it was kind of, we're not taking all the boxes here because we can't possibly do that, but it's just
exactly.
Like, we can give you a general feel of the curriculum so that you can feel like you're doing something. And even just to have a bit of structure for kids and stuff like that, so they can get up and say, right, 10 o'clock and get me breakfast. I'm going to watch the Kula Kahara School from 10:30, then the Homeschool Hub, and then that's my day done. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I do the worksheets that come with it and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So that was kind of the goal, and
yeah, because like with kids and stuff, but even like with adults and stuff, like, we need a structure. And when lockdown happened, we were like, what's going on? And we had no structure. Like I was getting out of bed at 2 o'clock in the day, and I was like, sure, I have nothing to be doing, so I might as well stay in bed and watch Netflix, or, do you know what I mean, or watch the telly. Like, so for you to do that was another main factor, was getting a structure to the kids' lives of, like you said, get up, have your breakfast, sit down, do your homework. So that fair play, and that was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But
but as well as that, like, go on.
No, go on. You go.
No, it's just like, I think there's positives in doing that kind of thing, like you said, like, just like, look, I've nothing to get up for today, so I am going to go for a walk or watch Netflix. And everybody was doing the 5Ks. Everybody started talking to their family members that were in the same room. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly.
There's a lot of positive. Yeah, like, just like, oh yeah, I forgot you live here too. How's it going,
man? I just thought the food just arrived here every day. I didn't know what was going on. You actually cook this? What?
You do this. Yeah. So I like, there's a lot of positives that we can take from it as well. Like, I hope that we don't just go straight back to normal, where everybody's driving, there's traffic everywhere, and people are getting stressed out and stuff like that. But it's a happy medium, and I hope we find it.
I think so, yeah. I don't think things are ever going to go back to normal. Like, even I went down to the shop today, and I walked into the shop, did my hand sanitizer, and looked around, and everyone was wearing masks, and I actually ran out of the shop and was like, no. And I was like, oh my God, because I felt like everyone was like judging me. And I genuinely, because it's not in my system yet to wear a mask 24/7 when I go places, I was just like, oh no. But I got the mask and went back in. But like, it's just a word. It's a completely different word. Like,
the exact same thing happened to me, where me and my pal were having lunch earlier today, and we were going down to Tesco's, and I was just like, because he drove and I keep my mask in my car.
Same.
I forgot it. So I went in, and I was just like, sure, I'm only getting sausages, rashers, and eggs, right?
Yeah.
And 3 elves like jumped up against the wall when I walked by, like, and ran off. This woman literally, she was looking in the fridge, saw me coming, and ran and left the fridge door open, right? And then she ratted on me to security, and I was like, what is going on?
What?
Because I had a tiring day yesterday. I didn't do a whole lot, so I forgot that like masks are mandatory, right? And she ratted me to security. I was like, let's get out of here.
Like, it's an honest mistake. It's
not like people are still scared, you know.
I get it, but I'd say something if you went in and were like coughing all over the place and rubbing your snots on chicken and all, like, but like, that sounds absolutely disgusting. I'm really sorry, but like, but yeah, like, it's absolutely, the world has just gone absolutely bonkers, absolutely crazy. But come here to me. So I just want to get back to the Homeschool Hub. So you decided to be a primary school teacher. Why? Was that always something you've always wanted to do, or what's the story there?
That's a good question. When I was younger, like, I used to play hurling and football, and just when I wasn't doing that, I was playing soccer on the road with the other lads, like the boys I grew up with and stuff, and just loved my summers, loved like being able to be moving during work. So I started working in summer camps in the local GAA club, and I was just like, I get along with kids. Kids bring you back down there big time. Like, I used to have bad teeth, and they were just like, hey, crap teeth, and I'd be like, hey, yeah, like, you can have no illusions with kids, because one kid came up to me, he was just like, I love your teeth, they're my favorite color, yellow. And what that was like,
no,
so Yeah, but I actually got along with them because I was just like, oh yeah, well, guess what? You got baby teeth and they're all going to fall out and you look like a gummy. So, this kind of thing, you can have a bit of crack with
You
kids.
have to crack with them, yeah.
So I was just like, okay, how can I do this for a job? And I was like, actually teaching
Mm.
would be a great way of doing this where you can not slack kids, but like, you know what I mean?
You have to
You
crack
can
with them.
have a good job, have the
Mm.
crack with them. It's a fulfilling job. It's really, you can go home at the end of the day and just be tired, but nicely tired because you've done a good thing. If you teach a kid how to read, it's a really rewarding job.
Yeah, that's
So,
class, man.
and then also it's just like I can still play hurling after school with kids, train them and do all this stuff. And I love music and I had the Gaeilge. So it was just a fit. So I went straight into college, did art. Then I went over to London and trained to be a teacher over there. And then I was teaching happily for a good couple of years. And then I just decided I wanted a break from it because I'm very tired. And took a career break first. And then I was actually meant to go back teaching September gone.
Yeah.
But I sat down with my principal and just said, look, I'm going to politely resign the post because I'm just having a great time doing the acting and art teaching and that kind of stuff. And in fairness, he was really sound about it. And then bang, apocalypse hits. And I'm like, what did I do that for?
Oh, no.
But it worked out okay because of the Homeschool Hub. So
Yeah. That because that's the thing. Like you have the Irish, and then the Homeschool Hub comes along and calls you, and it's like it was made for you. Do you know what I mean? Like you were made to be that person. Like so that's. But you say like you were saying there, you went to London. I never knew that. So were you teaching over in London? Oh, you never told me that. No.
No, I was in college in London for a year. I did a postgrad over there, and it was great because like I live very close to the college that I went to in Ireland, so I lived at home, right? And it was handy and it was brilliant, but it gave me kind of a feel of college because I know you were over there. You were studying
dancing and stuff.
Yeah. So what college were you in again?
Leicester College of Performing Arts. Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah. So like we'd be chatting about Leicester and the crack that you had, and I kind of experienced that to a lesser extent because I was only there for a year, but it was the college life and living on campus, and then we were doing teaching practice over there and stuff. Yeah.
That's mad. I never knew that. Maybe you told me, and I just wasn't listening to you. I don't know.
That's your luck. That happens.
That's it. For those people listening, myself and John know each other through Panto. We did Panto in 2018. Yeah. 2018. Myself and John did the UCH Panto in Limerick. A great year. Oh my God, it was possibly one of the funnest years ever. Myself and John, we were playing. It was a Snow White. We played the dwarf / boy band princes. You can guess, as you know, I was dopey, and John was happy, as you can see by the big smile. Yeah, by the big smile in his face here. So it was absolutely amazing. So that's where myself and John met. So we're good friends from that, and it was absolutely crazy. But that had been my.
It was some crack, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. That had been my third or fourth Panto I think I'd done. But was that your first Panto, John, or had you done Pantos before?
That was my first, yeah.
Your first.
Yeah, well, I did one for the local GAA club, but it's we had 3 nights as a fundraiser. Do you know what I mean?
Which are then UCH was nothing to you, if you'd done that, do you know what I mean?
I come from the GAA hall and then
That's
UCH,
it.
and I was just I remember day one because I remember when we first opened, and you were we were in this little hut. I can't remember the little hut.
Yeah,
the hut. You were I'm nervous. And I said, I'm nervous too, man. I'm real nervous. And you're sorry, I was just I don't know if I can do this. And you were and Davey Crowley was just he's about to be fine. Relax.
I know,
okay.
and I'd done a few of them, but it's good to be nervous. I was just more excited than that. But the two of us were oh my god. But yeah, we had some crack at that Panto. Genie Mac, the things.
Yeah.
For you, what was your most memorable experience of Panto?
Of that particular Panto, there was one night, and I think it was after opening night, and we were all out, right? And I think I was in the middle on the couch, and it was you, me, Catherine Lynch, and I think Richie, and we were banging out a song, and I think it was Raglan Road or something, and someone had a video of it, and I just remember thinking, this is the best crack ever.
Yeah.
Also, there was a football game in the small wee hours of the morning. Remember that as well.
Myself, John, and Davey at 4 a.m. in the AstroTurf pitch, and the security coming to kick us out. Oh my God!
In fairness to them, right? Security rolled up and just there's people running around messing and it assumed they thought we were up to no good, and then they actually saw us playing football, and they were just oh, go home, will you? Okay, bye.
Oh man, that was brilliant. Oh, that was
Oh,
an
some crack.
amazing year, absolutely amazing year. Like, and then
Yeah.
you actually went on to do the tour in Panto the following year, actually, didn't you? How was that? Like, so comparing the two of them, like, like, granted, obviously, I wasn't in the tour in Panto, so like, it was not going to be as fun because I wasn't there.
Sure, look.
But I know I'm joking, I'm joking. But what in comparison, like, how is it different? Like, obviously, you're touring on the road and stuff, but what are the main kind of things that you found different in both the years?
The biggest difference is that, well, for starters, the touring Panto was a shorter run, so
Yeah,
and it's just as good a show. I think it's a great show and a great
yeah,
cast, and we were very lucky this year as well. We had a great cast, but I just think it's a little bit shorter. So you're just as you're kind of getting into it, it's nearly over. Do you
yes,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Because you're moving as well.
Yeah,
So at least in Limerick, like we arrived there and we were settled and we had the routine, and you get into the routine for a longest time. Whereas
yeah,
this, we were there, you're rehearsing, now you're down in Wexford, you do that, now you're in Killarney, you do,
yeah,
and then it's just because everything's new all the time, you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my. I never actually
Yeah,
thought of that actually, because you know we're so used to in Limerick, you have your 4 days with the like the school shows, and within those 4 days and the 3 days beforehand of rehearsing without anyone, you're finding your feet and you're finding your rhythm, and then eventually you get into it, and then you have a good run of like 3-4 weeks. As
exactly.
to where for you, like you're saying, like you'd 4 or 5 days in one place, and when you get to like your last day, is you're packing up and leaving, and you're like, oh no, like I'm just happy here. Like, why take me away? You
Exactly.
know,
Yeah. I'm
you know,
literally getting to go. And the other thing is the
yeah.
stage and all. Like, so you practice and you do the show on one stage and you get used to that. And then when you go on to the next one, it's like the stages are different. So you're kind of like,
Oh yes,
where
yeah,
am I? I should be over here, and there's something in my way now. So there's those kind of tech things you have to figure out as well.
yeah. Gee,
But
I
it's
never
good
actually
because it was
thought of that.
challenging. Like,
That's mad.
yeah, the
Yeah,
stage are different.
that's tough because you know yourself trying to find yourself on a stage is tough enough, but trying to find yourself on multiple stages within such a short time, things like that. I never thought. Jesus, I'm never going to do a tour in Panto. It sounds very complicated.
Well, then you will never need to because you're a superstar down there, and,
Will you
and deservedly
stop?
so. You're unbelievable. No,
Will you stop? Will you stop?
you
Well,
deserve it, fella.
please God, everything going well. Pantos will all be back this Christmas, and we'll all have a job. We won't.
Do you think they will? Do you think they will?
I I'm hoping. I'm seeing like things that they're social distancing and like with checking temperatures and wearing masks and stuff. So please God, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, because the theatre industry, like I know a lot of people are in a lot of difficult situations,
Yeah,
but like theatre and the arts has just been crucified with this thing. Like
it's
it's
been
so
crazy.
difficult. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
the
we
nuts.
were meant to go to Gavin James in Limerick there. He was doing like a drive-in thing. And to be fair to him, I think
Oh yeah,
he was doing it to kind of raise money for like the tech people and the backstage people and people that you don't see. Do you know, the people that without them people a show would not be possible. And he was kind of doing that
yeah.
for them to make them a bit of money. And then the gig got pulled because people were complaining with social distancing. But like we were all in our cars, you weren't allowed to get out of your car. So what? I didn't see what the issue was. And you know, separate the
So did
cars
he
and
do the concert and then
no,
people were just complaining about it after?
no people. The concert just got pulled altogether. Yeah, but yet
Oh
they're
my God.
they were doing drive-in cinema movies. Do you know, like go to the movie and watch a cinema or what? Or
Yeah,
what? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like so,
yeah.
you could do that, but you couldn't do it with a concert. So I don't
That's
know.
so weird. Like it doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
it didn't make sense at all. But look, please God, all going well. Panto will be back. Please God.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Another thing I wanted to ask you was YouTube. You're very, very, very popular on YouTube. And how I know this is when we did Panto, I don't know, do you remember this? But we went out one of the nights. It was that night we had our little football match. That night, we were out. I don't know where we are. I think we were in like Daikon in Limerick or something. Go on.
Daikon or something.
Daikon, like a bunch of 17-year-olds again, and we about 40. But and the place was empty. But
Yeah.
I remember we were at the bar having a pint. And actually, no, we were having a vodka. What am I saying? A pint, as if
Yeah.
I'm a man. I drink real beer. But we were at the bar having a drink, and I remember these girls came up, and I remember being like, they're gonna ask me like, you know, for a picture, like John class, like.
You mean as per usual everywhere else we went in Limerick?
Yeah.
They're like, there's that Cronin. I'm like,
And
bring
then,
her too.
yeah, and then like I'm only joking, obviously, but then we're there chilling, and these girls came up and were like, "Are you John Sharpson from YouTube?" And I was just like, what? What? I was like, what is going on? And then they got a picture with you and left, and I was like, yeah, man, like I got a picture of them an hour ago anyway. Like, don't matter. Like,
Yeah, like, so what?
so tell us a bit. So is it your own YouTube channel or like it's the Try channel? So is that your own, or do
it's
you?
the Troy channel, yeah.
Yeah. So is
No,
that
so basically the Try channel is run by these three people, Kelly, Sean, and Colin, and they're amazing. They're just fantastic. And they started this themselves, and they got familiar faces that all worked on a different channel. So, and that channel shut down. So we were all like, okay, there's nothing to do. And they were like, look, we're starting our own channel. We just want to keep the buzz going, keep having the crack. And they're killing it. They've nearly got 1 million subscribers. They're huge over in the States and stuff like that.
huge.
So that's not my baby exactly. They just say, John,
yeah.
are you around for a video this week? And I say, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then it goes great. And it's so funny because, like Irish people are great. They'll come up, like, if they recognize, they're just like, I like those Try videos. And I'm like, thanks. And they're like, listen, have a good night. And that's it, right?
Yeah.
But because it's so big in America, there's been times in Ireland where, like, an American has come up to us and they're like, what? Shut up!
No way!
It's John from the Try channel.
Cam. What?
Yeah, and she's like, I gotta ring my husband. I'm like, this guy's running campaigns. I was just one, but like it happens like where they're like a completely different kettle of fish.
Oh my God!
It was once I was over in Manchester as well, and I was in a cafe one morning, and this dude, he was a huge, big guy, and he'd like rings all over him, like, and he was just kind of looking at me for ages, and I was just like, is this guy staring at me, or am I going to get battered here, or what? And he comes over, and like he was like literally, he was about 6'6", like, and a bit like a particular type of house, and he just goes, all right, and I was like, how are you? And he goes, what's that Try channel? I was like, cool, and he just goes, so later. And walked off. I was like, all right.
I thought you were gonna say like mad. I watched that channel. It was absolutely rubbish. Imagine it just punched you in the face.
Exactly.
Don't
like,
ever do that again.
But that's what I was expecting, just because the way he's just like, what's that? So he was kind of like deciding where he was going to even come over and say on in the first place, and then he did, and he didn't even say if it was good or bad, or he enjoys me on it and all. He just said, what's that? Like, cool. So like.
It's like, what was there was no point to that conversation whatsoever.
I was just like
oh my God.
But they're just going from strength to strength, so it'll only get bigger and bigger, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And you have your own YouTube channel as well, do you, or is that still going, or have you kind of put that on the back burner?
I had to, just because so actually one of the puppeteers in RTE was doing it with me, and I've worked with him a lot, like he's brilliant, but he went back to do primary school teaching because I would still do a lot of subbing. So we kind of did role reversals in the sense that like he started in the industry and then went back teaching. I started teaching and then went into the industry. So I was seeing the good points about his job and he was seeing the good points about my situation.
Exactly.
So he went back teaching. My brother took over as a puppeteer, but he's got a new baby and stuff, so he's just like, look, man, I can't. And then I was getting busier as well, so we just had to say, like, all the episodes are still up there, and it is technically child friendly, where we don't curse or anything like that. We don't, I'm going to drop an F-bomb or anything like that. But ultimately, we just have to put it on the back burner for a while. Yeah,
because I remember I watched a few episodes. What it's called, like, is it Shamu or something? No,
Sharoof.
That's what I was like. Shamu. Yeah. I remember watching it and stuff because was that the year? Were you there the year we did John Deere? It was, wasn't it? John Deere, when we did the puppet down in Panto. It was. Remember Tom has a puppet, John Deere. Yeah. So like, if you're looking for a puppeteer,
actually,
Tom
appeared on Sharoof as well. Do you know?
What?
The main man. He actually appeared on Sharoof. Tom did. He did an episode with us.
Did he?
He came over because. Yeah. So I can't remember what it was. He just sent me a message. He was like, I'm watching Sharoof, it's called Crack. And I was like, look, you're more than welcome. Like, Robbie's looking for people. He's like, great. Yeah. So, but we film it in my parents' house. Like, so we came over and had the 2 packets of biscuits for me, man, and Dad, and all had a
of course he did. That is so Tom. Yeah. Like, Tom is just like arriving with biscuits and tea and dinner and like a log of.
I couldn't turn up empty-handed.
Exactly. That's a Tipperary thing. No, that's a pure Tipperary thing. You can't come to a house empty-handed. Like, you have to come with the full dinner.
Yeah.
Like. But that is mental, like mental. But Tom is mental. Like,
he's a legend, somebody.
Absolute legend. But community. So I remember talking to you about kind of presenting and things like that. And I think from what I remember, you said to me that you wanted to get into presenting because you used to watch Ray Darcy. Is that true? So like, you want to be like,
that's right. Yeah.
You want to be like Ray Darcy. Is that kind of your end goal, is like Ray Darcy status and what he does?
I think so, like in the sense of his kids' TV time, you know, more so.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
when I, like most kids growing up in the 90s, was just go to school, come back, watch the Den, chuckle your ass off,
Oh,
like,
of
you know what I mean?
course.
So, and I remember thinking, even as a kid, I was like, this guy's got the best job in the world.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I want that. So even when I was doing my leaving cert, I had, you know, teaching in Pats, arts and Pats, Marino College, all the teaching stuff. And then down the bottom of the list was like media in DIT or something like that, or television presenting and stuff like that. Because it was always in the back of my mind that I'd love to do it. So,
Yeah.
and to be honest with you there, like even with the Homeschool Hub, we've kind of proven, I think, that you can produce something organic in Ireland and kids will enjoy it. Like kids do
Yeah.
watch it. Now, I know a lot of these kids who are watching, we had 250,000 people watching on day one, and then we were
Jesus.
averaging about 150,000 every day after that. Like, so it's quite. And actually, Ray Darcy wrote an article about it, just saying we have created something organic here that kids are enjoying. So hopefully, RTE will take the initiative and bring back kids TV, because I mean, if you look at the UK, all they were doing was watching Zig and Zag, and then they created that with like Hacker T-Dog and
Oh,
stuff like that.
yes, yes.
It was that live feel to it, because anything could have happened. So Ray used to come out on the Den sometimes and literally be like, and Dustin would be like, "Hey Ray, I'll turn your mic on," and he's like, turns the mic on. Sorry about that. Like, it was live TV and stuff happened that went wrong, and that was the beauty of it, because like Dustin would say something and Ray'd be like, "What do you say?" And Dustin would be like, "No, I was just saying." And Ray was like, "Oh, sorry, I thought you said something else." Like, and you see him getting scared because he thought Dustin was out there dropping some bomb. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's the way to keep kids entertained. Just when you don't know what happened, you just turn on the camera and you roll with it.
That's it. Because I think kids nowadays they're growing up way too fast.
Yeah.
Way too fast. Like, as I was saying, like before, like the girlfriend's sister's only 9 and she is obsessed with TikTok. Like every time I come to the house, she's like, "Can I have your phone? I want to go on TikTok." And she's glued to it. And but then she's growing up way too fast. She's nearly like a 13-year-old now, but she's only 9. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the problem with some kids nowadays. They're growing up way too fast. And you're like, when I was 9, like you said, I loved Zig and Zag. I loved the Den. I loved playing Pokemon. Like, do you know what I mean? I love playing games and like, you know, or playing like snakes and ladders, or going out and like throwing the ball at the curb and playing curbs, like curb to curb with the boys. Like, do you know what I mean? Nowadays kids don't do that. Kids don't go out and play in the street anymore. Like, do you know, so it's just, it's sad.
And
it's sad to see, like,
technology has a lot to answer for with that as well, because parents don't know how to use technology. They're giving their phone to a kid. Kids have access to everything. Like, and I'm like, man, that needs to be monitored. Like, that has to, like, you have to know what your kids are up to, because all of a sudden they're going to get themselves in trouble. Or they're going to see something that they can't unsee. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's the social media is a dangerous world, but it's also a good world as well. Like, we can't just say social media is so bad, because here we are talking and on camera to social media. Do you know what I mean? But it's like everything. It has its pros and cons. Do you know what I mean? So it's crazy. Like, but
and so especially for lockdown, like social media was so important. Like,
social media kept the world going. TikTok saved the world, because people were like, "What will I do in lockdown? I'm going to do a few videos of myself dancing," and like, do you know what I mean? And which is a blessing in disguise for me, because I'm hoping when I go back in September that everyone will be like, "I want to dance and be like TikTok," and I'm like, "Yeah, you can come in the door, but leave TikTok where it is, because TikTok
over here.
wrecks my head. Like, the TikToks are just crazy, and the songs and stuff." But so social media was the blessing in the sky and helped us all get through this lockdown, this crazy.
That's kind of ironic as well, because Dale, you above all people could make a mint from TikTok with your dancing skills and doing the backflips and all that. Like, it's just like, do you ever have one of those days and you just do that? Like, that's a viral video right there. If I could do it, I'd be on TikTok right now making bank. Like,
I know. I tried to get into it at the start, and I could. Man, learning some of them dances is actually really tough. I spent the very first day.
That makes me feel so good hearing you saying that.
Man, I spent a good hour trying to learn the dance, because nobody's there. Nobody's there telling you, right hand here, left hand here. You just have to watch it and watch it and watch it. And then you're also learning it backwards, because like the person is doing it with the right hand, like
mirror.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So it's dangerous game. But I was going to get into it, but I was like, nah, I just can't. And then I'm like, I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm 26. Like, I can't be. Why do I do TikTok? I don't know.
Try being my age and getting into TikTok.
Exactly. John, you're only 21. Would you stop? Like, way with that big beard.
That's it,
big, gorgeous beard. Yeah. All right. So, as you saw on our social medias, I put up saying that John was coming on the podcast, and I asked you guys to send in some questions for the handsome John. And so I have them here. I'm just going to read out a couple of questions that people were asking. So the first question is, what is your biggest achievement in life? So far, what is the most amazing thing that you feel like you've achieved?
To be honest with you, it's a kind of a boring answer, but I'll say that. Like the proudest thing that I can stand beside is probably the Homeschool Hub. It was a lot of work and it was challenging, and we all helped each other out. But it's the thing that I think most proud of, because we got a letter from the president to say thanks so much for what you did for the kids of Ireland. We got a certificate from the mayor calling us COVID heroes, saying thank you so much for what you did. Which, to be honest with you, like I'm not going to get real preachy and all like this, but like, you've got teachers who were doing the job that we did in the Homeschool Hub, Monday to Friday, 9 to 3, 9 to half 3, every single day. Like, so, like, you know, we're not heroes, but basically, we're just doing the same job that they do every single day. And then you've got doctors and nurses who are out there fighting the actual disease, and they're still not getting it. But that's side note. But that's kind of the proudest thing that I can stand beside. And then I think the hardest thing I've done is doing my dip. There's a dip year that you have to do as a teacher, and for whatever reason, I found it very, very difficult. I had a lot of balls in the air, and and when I got it, I actually felt quite proud of myself.
Unreal.
Which is, like I said, a boring answer, but there you go.
No, but it's a good answer, because, you know, people will come onto podcasts and be like, oh, my greatest achievement is meeting Lewis Capaldi or something. You're like, but I like that you're like, you know, you have a bit of a name for yourself. Like people would class you as, like, you know, celebrity-esque and famous-esque. You would, you're well known. You're a household name in Ireland. Zed Lister. But no, like, you're well known in Ireland now. So, like, it's nice to see that you haven't forgotten where you come from. You know, you still you had a normal life. You still have.
I'm still Johnny from the block.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. There's the episode name right there. He's still Johnny from the block. Let's move away from that one. Another question that has come in here is, what is one thing you want to try on the Try channel? So something that you would like to try. Is there anything there that, you know, you see, because you on the Try channel, you get sent stuff and you try all different foods and different drinks and things like that for people that don't know. So this is why we're asking this question. Is what's something that you know of and you're like, oh, I'd love to give that a go? Like,
cheapers. I'd love to try something like a skydive.
Yeah. Nice.
I haven't done skydive. In terms of food and drinks and stuff, like, they've literally come up with every single thing. Like, I did an episode last week where it was like Irish people tried chicken kebabs. I was like, this is my bread and butter. I love this. Like, what a great day. And then the following episode was the hottest gummy bear in the world. So I was in agony for an hour and a half. Like, so it's, oh my God, it was so bad. I would not wish it on my worst enemy. But so in terms of food, they've got it all. They've got it kind of wrapped up. So I think it'd be something like skydiving or a bungee or something, or actually swimming with sharks, because I'm terrified of sharks.
Oh my God, that'd be class.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just to say you did it.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Just exactly. Just be cheeky, like I'll do it, like, just so cheeky.
Yeah. Just dip my toe.
Just the toe, just the tip. So another question that has come in here is, do you prefer acting or presenting? What do you prefer out of the two?
I love presenting, but I'd love to get more into acting. It's something that I haven't really, like, Panto was the first proper acting gig that I'd ever gotten. Like, I'd never done anything before, and I haven't done anything since, some might say. But I'd love to kind of do an acting course maybe and get into a little bit more acting.
Yeah, that'd be class.
I love presenting as well. I love when it's off the cuff and it's just like, okay, I'm standing here with this person. What's your story? Like basically like this podcast, which is why I said I love it, because I love when people are just sitting down having a conversation, you know? Yeah. So I do love presenting, but I would like to pursue acting another little bit.
Class. Yeah, because you present like all.
Great question, caller.
Yeah, I actually should write down their names when they come sending their questions. But because you do present like singles nights and date nights and stuff in your local pubs and stuff, and I see them on your Instagram and they look like great crack. Like, they're all up dancing away, and you do like bingo or something at it as well, is it, or am I completely wrong here?
We did a bingo in the GA club as a fundraiser. It was like an online bingo for the whole thing. So we did that, and then with the singles night, we have different kind of games and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like, so it'll be musical chairs, and you have to find a chair, and if someone's on it, you just have to sit in their lap, and that's what it is. Like, it's icebreakers to get people talking.
Yeah. It sounds like great crack. I watch your Instagram. They sound absolutely amazing. Someone actually, would you believe, wrote in and said, John, would you ever consider modeling? That is no joke. I have the screenshot there. I would send it to you. Someone said, John, would you ever consider modeling? Because you're so handsome. And I agree. I agree. I would hire you in a second, man. Look at you. You big grizzly bear looking. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes, that was just what I had to read it out because I saw it. I was like, John's going to find this absolutely hilarious.
I do find that absolutely hilarious.
It is brilliant. It is brilliant.
Who else going to hire a 30-year-old man with a beard, like, who might have a shower on a day-to-day basis, but maybe you want to be feeling a little bit lazy, like,
who might have a shower. RT, you're listening going, we are never hiring that smelly man again.
They're like, so that's what that smell was.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that. The last question then that someone has sent in, there was millions of questions. Like I just tried to pick the best ones. Someone said, what is the best piece of advice you have been given?
Best piece of advice that I have been given in my illustrious career of not doing a whole lot.
It's a tough one.
I don't know. Because people don't, like, it's like back in the Wild West, people would be like, hey, kid, let me give you some advice. But no one really goes out dishing advice anymore. You know?
That's actually true, actually.
Yeah, it's like, when's the last time someone double-crossed you? It's just like, I don't think anyone's been double-crossed since the 18th century. So, piece of advice.
You're such a teacher, like back in the 18th century in the Wild West. Like
actually, are we living in the Wild West back in the 18th century?
Yeah, you could tell John Sharpson is a teacher. But okay, let's rephrase that question. If you were to give any of the listeners some advice on life, what would you say to them? Do you know the people, especially like people in like sixth year that are going, I don't know what to do with my life. My leaving cert wasn't actually done, and now to apply for college, do I want to do a job? Do I take a year out? What kind of advice would you give to someone right now?
That is an excellent question, because I literally, my life was going in one way where I was qualified primary school teacher and was making decent money and was looking at a mortgage and thought life was going in one direction. And all of a sudden it was, you know what it was actually? It was about a panic attack. So my mental health suffered a little bit, and I had to go to therapy for a couple of years and figure it out. And it just turned my world upside down. But because of that, I went down a different route. And now I just don't worry about it, would be my advice. Like, if you're worried about where it's going, like, I'm in my 30s, I have no clue where I'm going to be in 5 years. Like, not a clue. I hope that I'm going to be somewhere, but I'm not worried about it, because as long as you're happy within yourself, it doesn't matter. And there's no rush whatsoever. There's zero rush, as long as you're happy. And you will see people, you know, all your friends might be growing up and getting married and all like that, and that's fine. And if that's for them, that's for them. But ultimately you have to follow your own path. And there we go. Just got real deep real quick.
Follow Your Own Path by John Sharpson. Man, that was best advice I've ever heard ever. Thank you so much, John, for coming on. You're an absolute legend. You're one of my good friends. I really appreciate you coming on and supporting the podcast and stuff. Just before we go, just so if people want to check you out and check out your stuff, where can people find you online? How do we look up Johnny online?
Johnny online. It's literally John Sharpson is an unusual name. So if you Google John Sharpson or put it into Instagram, it's going to come up on Twitter, on Instagram. God knows what else you'll find if you Google John Sharpson, but there you go. So I suppose it's just Instagram and Twitter. If you add me on Facebook, it's only friends and family that I kind of accept. So
that's
Facebook,
fair.
But apart from that, I'm on Twitter, Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm not very active on it, but I am on it. So it's whatever your voice is, you can find me on it probably.
Exactly. Listen, John, thank you very much for coming on the podcast today. You're an absolute legend.
Man, thanks so much for having me. Great crack and fair play to you. Love that you're getting the podcast up and running. Good man.
Thank you. There you have it. That is the lovely gent. That is John Sharpson. Big shout out to John for coming on to the podcast. I really appreciate it. Good friend of mine, absolute legend. And he was the main man keeping this country going, as Moontor John, keeping the kids educated. So thanks so much to John and all the other teachers that got involved in that project. If you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe to everything. We are now on YouTube at the Daily Dose Podcast, Instagram, Facebook at the Daily Dose Podcast, and obviously, of course, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so many more streaming platforms. So please make sure to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. It would mean the absolute world to me. Until next week, see ya.